everyone, I am Dr. Nisha Kumari, Assistant Professor at School of Business, Aditya University. Today we are going to discuss about techniques for gathering the feedbacks. By the end of this particular lecture, you will be able to understand the different techniques which we are having to collect or to get the feedback from the users, and you will be able to difference between all these different techniques such as your user interviews, observations, and surveys and questionnaires, also user reviews and the ratings based on their purpose, data type and the suitability for your collection of the feedback requirement. And as well as you will be able to understand how to apply those particular feedback collection methods as well as where to apply. So previously we were talking about the design thinking process where we are following some certain steps. First one is your empathize, then your define part, and then your ideate part, and then your prototype part, and the last one was your testing part. So in empathize, what is happening? We are trying to understand the users through different empathy research methods. In define part, we are clearly and concisely mentioning the problem statement. Based on that problem statements, we are generating the solutions to address those particular problems, correct? So after that idea, once we are generating the ideas and we are evaluating and validating those ideas, we are going to choose one particular idea, and for that idea we are going to start creating the prototype. Now after creating the prototype, we are going to test that prototype based on the stages and based on the requirement by using the different testing methods. Now while we are doing the testing path, in that testing part there is one thing. In first we are giving our product or the service to the users. Now from users what is happening? We are collecting the feedback for our product or the service. So now the question is how to collect the feedback. So there are some certain methods to collect the feedback. Among those certain methods, one is your interviews. So while we talk about the interviews here are your one-on-one conversations where the one will be the interviewer and one will be the interviewee, and interviewer is going to ask some certain set of the questions to the interviewer to understand their experience and their problems, you can say, and as well as what are the challenges they faced while they were using our product or the service which we gave to them. So now while they are doing these things, what is happening? Majorly what happens in the interviews, it's a combination of your close-ended and open-ended questions. So what are the close-ended and open-ended questions? When we talk about the open-ended questions, means you are just going to give a certain question to the users, and there is no limit that they has to give some specific answer for that. For example, if I will ask how you are feeling, so while you are going to express how you are feeling, you are not just going to mention in some set of standard that good, bad, worst, like that. No, you are going to express yourself how you are feeling in a different by using the different phrases and your experiences or your inner feelings. And while we talk about the close-ended, here we are going to close the options for you to give your answers for the same question. If I will ask how you are feeling, and for those particular questions I gave you the options whether you are feeling good, bad, excellent or worst, any options, whatever we feel to give. So in that, among those things we are going to tick any of one options. So these will come under your close-ended. But while we talk about the user interviews, there we focus more on the qualitative insights. So for that purpose, majority of the interview, your schedule will be having 80% of the open-ended questions, so that we will be able to understand the users, why they are behaving in a certain way, and what is the root cause for that thing, and what were the challenges they were facing while they were using our product or the service. So while we ask about the interviews, it's to understand why behind the user's behavior, in a certain way if someone is behaving, what is the reason behind that thing. And while we talk about the interviews, they are flexible and conversational format. It's like that you are sitting with your friend and you are having some kind of conversation on one particular topic. Same wise, we are going to sit with other users and we are going to interact with them. First, we are going to start the we are going to break the ice by asking them the normal questions or regarding their life, or you can say their names, family and all. And after breaking the ice, we will jump on our particular topic which we want to discuss with them. It's not like that simply you met someone and directly will start asking the questions regarding a product or like the thing which you want to discuss with them. First, we are going to introduce ourselves to them, as well as we are going to learn from them who are they and what they do. And after breaking that particular ice between those two people, they will start conversation on a particular topic which they want to discuss or for which they want to get the data from the users. And as it's considering more of the open-ended questions, it's providing you the rich and qualitative data. And it allows you to real-time probing and follow up. Means it's going to make you understand real-time, like what is the real cause of the behind the behavior of the users. Now, because of these things, it's having some kind of advantage that it uncovers the hidden needs or the emotions of the users, because while they are explaining themselves, they are not limiting themselves with the one single sentence answers, but they are opening and they are clearly discussing what they really feel and what is the reason behind their behavior. And also it helps in you real-time probing and the follow-up. But along with this thing, it comes up with some kind of disadvantage, because here when we are interacting with the users, we are taking time and we are trying to understand them in depth. So because of that, it's kind of time consuming to conduct as well as to analyze the data, because the data we are getting in a paragraph format rather than in a one sentence or one word format, correct? And it applies on the small size, because what happens, we can't conduct interviews in a limited time much more in the terms of numbers, correct? So there will be the limitation on the name of the sample size, and because of that reason you can generalize that if the 20 people are feeling in the same way and 20 people are behaving in a certain way because of so and so reason, so that reason is the prominent reason of the behavior of all the entire other remaining populations, because we just conducting the interviews of the 20 users. So to some extent we can generalize it, but not the wholly. Then after interview comes your surveys and questionnaires. In surveys and questionnaires, what happens, we will be having solely close-ended questions. So now in a close-ended questions, what is happening? Either you can give simply them yes or no options, or either you can use Likert scale. Now what is Likert scale? Likert scale can be your like 5 point or 7 point, whatever it is there. So what is Likert scale? While we are using any of the online app, for example, if you can take any of the banking app or any banking website you are using. So once you will complete your transaction, you will get one question. How's your experience? So in that you will be getting stars like this: 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars. Okay, sometimes you will get the wordings, for example, excellent, good, neutral, worse, or in between worse it will be bad. So now you are going to tick or you are going to select any of the one option, whether it's in terms of the stars or in terms of the words you got. So in this surveys and questions, what is happening? They are going to give you some certain questions, and the answers you have to give in this particular limitation only. You are not going to express your inner feelings into that. It's just simply if your answer is coming under these things, you are going to pick. For example, you can see in this particular picture, like they ask, how easy was it to find the information you're looking for? So very easy, easy, neutral, difficult, or very difficult. So now in that you selected the very easy, that it was very easy for you to identify this particular information. The second one is, how satisfied are you with your product or the service? Satisfied, very satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, and very dissatisfied. So we choose satisfied. So like this, in the surveys and questionnaire, we are going to get the set of questions with the close-ended. There is no place for the users to put their internal thoughts. They has to select the particular option which is given in the questionnaire. Now how we can conduct the questionnaires or the surveys? Either we can use the online platforms. We can create one form online, and we can deliver those online forms to on an online platform such as your mail, or you can say your WhatsApp or any other social media or any other online platform. Apart from that, we can do the offline survey also, where we are going to take the prints of those particular questionnaires which we prepared or the surveys, and we are going to circulate those. So now while we are doing these things, what will be happening? By these surveys and questionnaires, we are going to get the quantitative data. Here we are not talking about the qualitative. Here we are talking about the quantitative data, means you are going to get your data in terms of the numbers, or you can say the stats. Now how come the numbers, if you say, like, because here we are not talking about that you are getting these very easy satisfieds. But while we are translating this data, what will be happening? We are going to assign the numbers to these particular names. For example, if you are talking about this very easy, neutral. So for very easy, we gave the 5 points because it's the satisfaction level, higher satisfaction level. Easy 4, neutral 3, difficult 2, very difficult 1. So now once we will collect the data based on these kind of codings we will do, and based on these numbers we are going to get our quantitative data, which we are going to test further or which we are going to analyze further. So now because of these things, what is happening? It's a low cost per response, because with the one particular survey or like one survey form, we are able to collect minimum 100 to maximum based on the range of your, whether you are using the online method or whether you are using the offline method. And it is easy to analyze statistically, because we are getting the some certain numbers, and using some kind of statistical tool we can analyze it very easily. But because of this thing, we are having some certain disadvantage, and the prime disadvantage is that we are not able to get the qualitative data. This thing we are not getting, and because of this thing, if we are not getting, we are not able to understand in depth that what the users are really feeling. We are just getting the statistical number, how based on like how the experience users had, and they are having low response rate possible. Now coming up to the third method is the observation. Now observation you can understand in the way like while we are conducting the lecture in a particular classroom. So what happens? It's not like that when we are teaching, we are just focusing on the teaching part, but we are observing each and every particular students, how they are behaving, okay, how when they are teaching anything, whether they are engaged in their own work or whether they are listening our lectures, whatever we are delivering in the classroom, as well as while we are talking, when there's kind of like a particular time is there for the discussion, or in between of the lecture, whether the students are asking the questions to the faculty, whether they are interactive or not, and after that also based on their behavior or overall behavior in the class, as well as if you are assigning any task to the class, what kind of behavior they are doing. So those things you are not measuring by asking them any questions, but you are doing all those kind of things by observing them while we are delivering the lecture in the class. So now while we talk about the observation method, that one is one of the example that we are doing in the class. But when we talk about in terms of your business or in terms of your understanding the particular individual or the community or the users, here what will be happening, without letting them know that we are observing them, we are going to capture what they are doing. Apart from what they are saying to us, we are going to understand by observing them what they really are doing. So by doing that particular format, or you can say that process, we will be able to understand the real behavior of the users and the reason behind that particular behavior. Because if we will let you know that we are observing you, what will be happening? You will start pretending. That pretend will come in the picture, and if that pretending will come in the picture, what will be happening? You will not get the actual data. And to get the actual data, we should not let the user or the individual know that we are observing them. We will observe the users behind the back. For example, if we are sitting in the classroom, correct, and there if I am giving the lecture, it will be altogether different environment. But here if the dean will come in the class, so what will be happening? The students who are not listening the lecture, they will also start listening, and they will also sit in a very disciplined manner. But in the same way, if and third person is coming in the like a student uniform. So what will be happening? He will come and he will sit along with the students and he will simply observe what is happening. So by this thing what is happening, he is in the uniform, student's uniform, as well as he is behaving casually. He is not pointing out that he came for that particular purpose. So students are not going to change their behavior. They will behave in the same way how they usually behave during our lectures. So this is the difference which we get. Once you will get to, the user will get to know that you are observing them, their behavior altogether will be changed. If we are hiding ourselves that it is not the purpose of us to observe you, we are simply doing our work, so they will behave in their own way. Same wise, if you are going in the hospital and if they will get to know that this particular team came for the inspections, so what will be happening? Each and every department, each and every staff member will be very precautious that nothing should go wrong and we should get the 100% from the inspection team. So if you are merging with the people who are really going there in the hospital as their patients, so you will get to know the real way or the operation of the hospital or how it is working. So that is why we will talk about the observation, where we will keep the one wheel, hidden wheel between the observer and the users to understand their behavior without letting them know and without letting them pretend. So because of that thing, what is happening? There will be no self-reporting bias, because we are going to report whatever we observed while that scenario was happening, and you will get the real world context, why that particular user was behaving in a certain way and what was their need, and you will be able to get the qualitative data and the behavioral data. Here behavioral data means how the users were behaving. The advantage of is that we will able to get to know their unspoken frustrations or whatever the problems or the challenges they are facing in that particular scenario, because sometimes what happen, we hide our emotions due to some certain reasons, and it will help you in catching the hesitations, their errors or the emotional cues which they are facing or feeling during that particular scenario. But they are also come with some kind of disadvantage, and in that prime one is time intensive, because not just within 5 minutes by seeing and by looking at someone you can understand, okay, this is the emotion they are feeling. To understand the entire emotions, we has to wait patiently, we has to observe the entire process or the entire scenario in which that particular individual is working or like is present, or it's the part or the main character of that particular scenario. Also, user may behave differently just in case if they will get to know that someone is watching them, because it is kind of one of the human nature. Once you will get to know, okay, someone is watching you, you will start pretending. Even you will not get to know that you are pretending, but somehow you will start pretending. And the last one is your user reviews and ratings. So while we talk about the user reviews and ratings, nowadays almost like everyone is using Amazon, Flipkart or your Misho, any kind of e-commerce app, correct? So in that app, what is happening, while we are going to search any kind of product, so while we are searching that product, at the end we are getting some kind of star ratings, as well as there is the open block where we can type our response as well as we can attach the images, correct? Same example is there. This example is given for your app. If you will go in the Play Store, you will be getting these kind of reviews in the terms of the star, as well as if you go scroll down, you will get this kind of box where you can write your feedback regarding that particular product or the app which you are using. So if you are talking about the Play Store, means regarding this, for example, Amazon. Regarding the Amazon, while you are going on the Play Store, you will get to know how much the ratings user gave to them and what kind of feedback they are giving to regarding the Amazon, whether it's a easy to use app or there is some kind of difficulty they are feeling. So this kind of thing you will get to know. Same wise, if we talk about kind of any product, you will get here the rating regarding that product, as well as the comment or the picture, like real picture of that particular product. So by seeing these things, what is happening, it is creating the public opinion, and based on that particular public opinion, the other users, they are deciding whether they has to buy that particular product or not, whether they should use this particular app or not. So while we talk about the user review ratings, these are the unprompted and public available feedback which is left by the users, and they are the unmoderated and spontaneous. It's not like that you can change this feedback. It's given by as publicly by the users. We can't modify it and we can't change it. It's coming spontaneously from the users, and it comes under the large volume, as well as it comes with the qualitative plus quantitative data. While we talk about the qualitative data, means the feedback here which is given by the users, and the quantitative data, these ratings 4.8, 4.3, 4.5, those are the quantitative data we are getting regarding the impression of that particular product, or you can say the app. The advantage of this that thing, we are going to get the authentic feedback which are not biased and which are not been unsolicited, which are not been solicited, and these are free and low cost to access, because once the entrepreneur or the owner of that particular organization or the creator of that particular app, they will go on the Play Store, they can see this thing. They don't have to pay anything to get this particular data. Simply they have to open their Play Store and they will get to know that what kind of ratings has been given regarding their app on this particular Play Store, as well as what kind of feedback they are getting from the users. But it comes with some kind of advantage as well as also that it can sometimes will be can create some kind of biasness based on the mood of the, you can say, the users, or sometimes like that by triggering the or getting affected by the second person opinion, and there is no ability to ask for the follow-up questions. For example, if someone is saying that they are not liking this app, so we can't follow them up that why they are not liking this particular app, what is the reason behind that, if they are not mentioning in the comment box. So overall, if we talk about the different techniques which we are having to gather the feedback, first one is your user interview, where we are getting the more rich and qualitative data. Surveys and questionnaire, where we are getting the structured answers, means your quantitative data. In the observations, we are getting behavioral data, means the actions, how the users are behaving. And in user and review ratings, we are getting mixed data, where we are getting the qualitative as well as quantitative data. Now, what is the, when we are going to use this different feedback methods? While we talk about the user interviews, we use to understand why the user is behaving in a certain way, what is the reason behind that thing. While we talk about the surveys and questionnaires, there we try to understand or we try to measure how many users are feeling in the same way. While we talk about the observations, that what they actually do in place of what they are saying. And while we talk about the user reviews and ratings, there we are going to understand the sentiments of the real world at a larger scale. By collecting the different feedback from the consumers, we are having different kind of techniques. In that we discuss these 4 major techniques, and from those techniques we are getting the qualitative as well as quantitative data based on the needs which we have to discuss. Whether we want to understand why the user is behaving in a certain way, we are going to go with the qualitative one. Why, how many are feeling in the same way, quantitative data we required, so we'll go with the surveys and questionnaires likewise. So when we talk about the user interviews, it's uncover the motivations, surveys measure structured responses at a scale, and as well as observation reveals the actual behavior of the users, why they are behaving in a certain way. Thank you.